Hi, sorry I'm back. Somehow I hit the limit of the free session for Screencastify. So, knowing your leadership, who are influencing agents, definitely in our community, our parents and students influence greatly our decision making. Our community members, the town of Mays sometimes can get a little bit put out with the disruptions in school buildings. So, definitely the community does have great input, but they do love working with our schools because they are known for their excellence. I will have to say their change in our superintendent has been a huge blessing to us all. He's been here for 5 years, and the relationship between the Board of Education and our union has really increased dramatically. Knowing our community leaders and characteristics, our superintendent is new to us. He was hired 5 years ago. I definitely think he helps unite us. He started the One Mays initiative. There's a lot of competition between schools and between the two high schools and middle schools, and that was hard on our community and our teacher population. He is present, approachable, and knowledgeable. It is so nice to work with someone as passionate as he is. He also has the right people in the right job. Our assistant superintendents of curriculum and human resources, they know their jobs and they do it well. They're also fantastic at advocating for teacher leaders. They've built programs in to teach teacher leaders how to lead within the building if you didn't want to become an administrator. They've built these leadership cadres. They have just done a great job of asking for input and listening and not just making unilateral decisions. So the economic conditions of Mays, I talked a little bit about that to begin with. We don't have industry that generates income, so we are always looking for ways to get or borrow money. And I talked about our wage conditions. My heart is really for this classified staff. We have many paras in our building, special education paras and general education paras, and it is just not a livable wage. Political structures. Our representative in this area is surprisingly not pro-education. When we passed our last bond issue in 2012, we passed it for $70.7 million. There were two questions on the ballot. They had asked up for upwards of almost $90,000, and only one portion of that passed. We just finished building the last building at the end of the last school year, and now we are at capacity again. We are growing by 7 to 8% every school year, which is a really good problem to have. We are trying to pass a new bond in August, asking for another $79 million. The average capacity of our elementary schools and middle school is 90%. The building that I am in is at 99% capacity. With our scheduled growth, if we don't pass this bond issue, we will be in like portable units. So it is a little bit pressing. And there's a little bit of concern because we are still paying off our last bond issue and we just passed one. Social tensions. We just do not have a lot of that yet. I know our demographic is changing, but as you can see, this is a typical classroom at Mays Elementary. That is not me, the teacher. But the shirts are provided by the school. You can see some forget, some don't forget, but we just don't have a lot of social tension. We do in the high school, middle school schools, we do have after school programs to address culture and social issues. There are all sorts of clubs for kids to be involved in. So the extra sources of information, where can you find our school records? It is public. I looked it up today, and it was not unknown to me. Our school, the ones for this year have not yet been published, but last year we were above state and district averages in all areas, reading, math, and science. I thought I might give you a little picture of where we are. So you can see there is the city of Wichita, and then you can see our teeny little self of Maize. But a bunch of this area here is where we are getting our most affluent citizens. Power structures, not struggle, excuse me. The relationship, there is an interrelationship among our principal and staff. Definitely, we now have a community builder principal. He is all about relationships, and he is striving to be a transformational leader. Our superintendent has a great relationship with our principals and district professionals. One of his best things that he says is, I like to hear from the opposition. We can't get better if we are not getting positive and negative feedback. One example of this is he wanted to convert one of the elementary schools into a 6th grade center for this new bond issue, because from an infrastructure standpoint, it was going to be the easiest. And everybody surrounding him kind of said, that is not what's best for kids. We're going to move them in their hardest years twice. Let's not do that. So he's just really easy to work with. Let's see. Multicultural issues. We do work on this some. We definitely have a Caucasian culture. We do sometimes have students who are Islamic, and I think that for our building is a struggle, because we used to, when I first started there 9 years ago, still have Christmas sing-alongs. That has stopped, but many teachers still do have Christmas trees in their building, in their room, and it is definitely decorated for Christmas. I think eventually that will have to stop, but so far that is where we are still. So the power structures for legislation, I think, are just really known. Our superintendent did just a really fantastic job of teaching us all about what the legislation meant and what was coming down in a factual way. They had an initiative this year for us all to register to vote, and the school with the highest percentage, our union paid for them to have lunch. And then they also hosted town hall meetings in Maize and invited staff members to listen to what the representatives were going to say. I have felt the most informed about what is happening in Topeka since our superintendent has taken over. Public opinion is huge in our district. We have a lot of community buy-in. The superintendent sends out surveys to the staff. The principal sends it to the staff and also to our parents. They go over this data. Mostly, it is done digitally, but there is a face-to-face follow-up with positive and negative feedback. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry about the double video. It was really pretty interesting to dig into this. I hope it was for you too.